Welcome back. Caring for a fellow human being is no simple feat. I can speak from experience, definitely, yes. Especially if you're responsible for them, like your own flesh and blood. Now, here to help parents get ready for their initial foray into parenthood is mompreneur Jen CC Tan, the maker of Next 9 baby slings, cloth diapers, and nursing covers. And we'll also get tips on fatherhood from attorney Stan Tan, a lawyer, husband, and father who is currently taking up his MBA at the Washington University. And hey, they just happen to be married to each other, right? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a very interesting topic. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, it's so appropriate because we're coming into Father's Day. You know, people are suddenly a lot more conscious about these things. We're talking about a very interesting concept here: attachment parenting. What exactly is attachment parenting?
Let me answer that. Because when I was pregnant with our eldest son, I wasn't working at that time, so I had chance to read up on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I found out about this thing called attachment parenting, and I realized that it's something that my parents did when we were young, and now they just have a name for it.
Yeah.
And I figure, you know, I feel that we were raised pretty well, and this is how I wanted to raise our kids. So, you know, him being the husband and me being the wife, he just followed me, right?
All right, yep. Don't worry, buddy. We're on the same boat. We're on the same boat, attorney.
In general, the idea is to foster that attachment to your child so that the child will become very confident about himself later on in his life.
Okay. Can that work to... Can you get too much of a good thing in terms of, I mean, attachment is a very positive thing and can have sort of a negative connotation as well, I mean, later on. Is that something that you should be conscious about? Or?
I suppose you should, because at a certain point you have to realize that, you know, when you need to let go and let them do the growing up themselves also.
Like when they're 42 or something like that?
Yeah. Actually, I think for dads, that's probably their major concern. They're thinking that if I coddle him now, you know, is he going to be able to let go? Will he be a sissy? You know, I think that's the one thing that's the major stumbling block for dads. You know, to let go.
Right. So were you all on the same page in terms of that thinking? Was it something that Jen sort of opened your eyes to, or were you sort of like, okay, yeah, I agree. We're all on the same page on this. How did you guys work this out?
I think it was well, not a negotiation, but you know, while the baby was growing inside of her, we had a chance to talk about, you know, how are we going to raise our kid?
And that's important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
You need to get that out of the way. You need to be all on the same page. You don't make it up as you go along. You don't discover that there are differences later on.
Yeah, parenting is, you know, it's a team effort, so you have to be on the same page.
Yeah. Okay, you've actually broken down some main basic principles of attachment parenting. Do you want to go through those? And then...
Sure. Actually, the general idea came from, to actually break it down, they're actually from the US.
Right.
So there's a group called Attachment Parenting Organization in the US. And this is what they've come up with. Apparently it's on screen, okay? Yeah. So even from the very beginning, while you're pregnant, you're already conscious about what you wanna do when your child comes out. So then you start, like, after the child comes out, then you do, like, I chose to breastfeed, but then there are a lot of working moms out there and working parents. So just because you are a working parent, it doesn't mean that you can't practice attachment parenting.
Okay. Meaning breastfeeding is a big part of that, but not necessary? Is that what you're saying? Or
actually, it would
find a way around the working hours so that you still are able to breastfeed?
Correct. I agree with that. What you need to do is to, you know, schedule your time and just do a routine, probably.
Yeah. It gets pretty difficult. I mean, my wife breastfed all of our children, and yeah, the first few weeks, you know, you're at home, you're with your child, it's easy. But then suddenly you go back to work. If you are a working mom, it becomes a little bit difficult, and it's definitely not something that just the mom takes care of. And I'm sure Jeff knows, because I mean, I get calls from Susie. You need to come here. You need to pick up the milk. You need to bring it to the freezer in the house. And it's a team effort, you know. So it's something you gotta work on together.
There's a whole lot of other things, which we actually did
principles.
as well. We co-slept with our kids
Yep.
since they were newborn. Sorry.
As early as possible. I mean, it's not like sleeping, having the kid in the crib beside you. It's not that. It's really having the kid in between you. You know, as a dad, getting over. Oh my God, what if I roll over?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. I have learned to sleep on this much bed. It's amazing how little space you actually need if you just really just like.
Yes.
No, but am I correct in thinking? I mean, the proximity, the physical contact, the skin to skin.
Correct.
This is important
That's
stuff.
the theory. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You grow up with that sense of attachment. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually they'll want to move out,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of when. And no, they're not 42 yet.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've we've moved them out during school days. But they're welcome to join us during the weekends.
Yeah, yeah, that's sort of what we do as well. We have
Okay.
weekend sleepovers.
Yeah.
They get to choose the movie, and that. I think moms tend to be a little more open about these ideas, these principles. Usually, moms will talk husbands or fathers into hun, kasi it's nicer if our baby sleeps with us, and I don't know, I wasn't raised that way. Exactly, and I mean you were hinting at that earlier when many men have certain preconceived notions about what they believe is correct or what they believe should be done simply because it's the male perspective.
Yeah.
Oftentimes in the back of their head they know these things but aren't really too willing to admit to wanting to acknowledge and explore these things. I mean, we're coming into Father's Day. It's very fitting that we discuss the role that a father plays in attachment parenting.
Right. Personally, I can see it that things are changing. Fatherhood is evolving.
Right.
I'm sure that you don't do things exactly the same way your dad did it.
Yeah.
Some people do it, father their kids because that's how my dad did it, and some people do it because I don't want to be like I don't want to be brought up the same way I was. I want to do something different. Especially now that we have more families with we have less stay-at-home moms.
Right.
We have less kids with yayas. So fathering has become more hands-on. I've seen it. It's generational. I've seen how I was treated by my father and my grandfather, and I can see it today. How my dad treats his grandkids and how I treat my sons. Things are a lot closer. We're a lot more open to showing our emotions, showing how we feel.
Yep, and I think that's a very positive thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, usually traditional males tended to be very stiff, unable to express emotions, and it affected your parenting. It affected the type of relationship you could have with your child, with your partner. Some specific tips, some very common. How would you say, stumbling blocks for the Filipino male, the Filipino father, that you feel we should be opening our eyes to?
Well, how do I put this? At a young age, when you're still a baby, you're a support system, really.
Right.
We've been through this, especially for breastfeeding moms. Because you can't get up in the middle of the night and make the formula because the formula is the mom, right?
Right.
So you're there to support. But as the kid grows older, your role expands rapidly. How do I put this? The best tip I can give to dads is, well, I'm not an expert yet, right? My elder is 10 years old.
Right.
It's consistency. Consistency in your parenting, not just to each child. You have to treat each child consistently. You have to act consistently.
Okay.
You know how they say that kids can sense fear?
Yeah.
They can sense fear.
They're just like little animals. Yeah, really. Okay.
It's like in Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
It's like they're testing.
Oh my
Kids
God,
are
it's a guy thing. I can't get
kids
it.
are constantly testing your resolve.
That's right.
They will prey on you.
See, Jen doesn't get it, but I get it. I get it,
don't
buddy.
get
We're
it.
on the same wavelength here. All right.
In your moments of weakness, you might be tired, you might be angry, you might be sleepy, you might say yes to something that you normally would not say yes to, like this new toy or can we watch this movie? So it's consistency.
Okay.
Consistency and making a conscious decision. parenting is pretty much making a conscious decision and not doing it on the fly.
Right, and really, I'm not sure if you agree, but there's my daughter on the fly, so to speak.
Cute.
I think, and I hope you agree with me here, Jeff. It's really a lot of breaking out of the mold of what is expected, what is considered to be expected behavior for Filipino males, for men in general. I think dads can have a little more freedom in terms of, like you said, being a little more hands-on,
right?
And not necessarily having to feel the pressure of being stuck in traditional roles of I have to be at work at 8 and I have to be home at 9 because I have to make the money, and if you want to spend a little more time with your kids, you should be spending a little more time with your kids.
Making more time
with your kids. I mean, it's not all about filling traditional roles here.
Right. Which is what we do. Actually, we take date days with the children. So there are days that are boys' days. And then there are days that are mom and boys' days.
Right. Here's a bit of advice: wear some sunscreen the next time you take it to the beach.
You have 3 girls.
We've got 3 girls.
That was fun. We were 3 girls when we were kids.
Yeah.
We don't have any girls.
It's been good fun. But I think Jeff will agree with me here. Father's Day is coming around. Fathering is for me, it's a constant journey of discovery, and I think the day you think that you know everything is that's the day it's all going to go downhill, really.
No.
Okay.
You never know everything, really.
Okay. All right. For people who might be a little more interested in picking up a few more tips and learning more about the idea of attachment parenting, is there a group they can go to? Is there a
Actually,
site? Is there...
yeah, there's a website called attachmentparenting.org. Just the entire thing, www.attachmentparenting.org, so they can check it out there. On the other hand, we at Latch, we espouse this theory, so you can visit our website as well, www.theperfectlatch.com.
All right. Okay. Well, thanks so much for dropping by and sharing your tips on parenting. Advance Happy Father's Day to my man, Jeff over here.
Same to you.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.